Hi, welcome back to Only Bonsai. Hope you're well. I've got a short little video today. Just want to share with you a tree that I've recently acquired. I kind of caved and bought a kind of semi-finished bonsai, something that I can't grow kind of probably in half my lifetime already, so not a complete cop-out as it were. Those of you familiar with my channel will know obviously I like to try and, well, my ambition is to grow bonsai from the start, whether it be from seedling, cuttings or air layers. But this Japanese white pine is kind of, it grabbed my attention, and lo and behold, here it is. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of just give you a little show of it really. There's a few things on it that I need to kind of improve. I think I got this for a pretty fair price. Yeah, I had to take a bit of a gamble with it. So I bought this on an online site, and it obviously had to be imported then as well. So it's come from Germany. It's got its own little passport and everything. Come from a certified seller as well. So he's, you know, he or she is legitimately allowed to sell plants worldwide. Really quite happy with this. It's a really good quality little tree. Not that I'm an expert, but you know, the qualities we look for in a bonsai or things we're trying to create, this tree seems to have a lot of them. I wouldn't usually be sold by this kind of wiring into the trunk, but obviously this tree, you can tell by the colour, would be grafted onto probably a black pine. So they've done a good job at hiding that, and they've created a really nice taper as well, which not all of these have. It tends to be a bit stumpy, and this one tapers off really nicely into the, you know, the grafted plant. So I'm really quite happy even to accept some wiring in it. One bit of wiring I'm not so happy with. There's a little bit of damage to this branch under here, but that's something obviously I'm quite confident over time we'll be able to work out with it or do something about. And other than that really, there's just a bit of moss a bit high up on the bark that needs cleaning out, and maybe it wants lifting out up of the pot a little bit. I've heard it's a little bit sunken in there and it could have a little bit more, but I don't know what kind of work's been done on the root, so it'll be nice to actually have a look in there and kind of assess that properly at some point. So yeah, really happy with this. A really healthy colour. It really does have the white, you know, silvery streak in it. It's quite prominent in this one, so I'm not exactly sure of what, you know, species of white pine it is, but yeah, really nice looking tree. I'm looking forward to kind of improving the areas that I've just said about. Obviously this branch under here, that part, some of that wire scarring is going to be quite hard to deal with, but over time I'm sure we can do something with it. And obviously this wiring here, I'm sure, which I've seen on further up where it's kind of grown out of it, as it does you know, kind of thicken up over time, I'm sure that will become less prominent and look more of a nice feature as well. I've got some great bark here already, so obviously with the moss growing in there, it's quite critical kind of to get that out of there and stop any decay happening, because it'll always be quite fragile. And I see the moss is kind of encouraged the mycelium up out of the substrate there as well. So I'll probably spend a couple of evenings just gently, you know, not a full couple of evenings, but half an hour or an hour here when I get the time, just picking the moss out of that very slowly. I've kind of held off a couple of days doing anything to it, because the guy had obviously well watered it before it was shipped out, and the, you know, the bark being covered in moss had soaked up some water, so I didn't want to start pulling at it yet. I just wanted to let it kind of dry out and, you know, and retain its structure a little bit. Now obviously this tree has a definite front here. You know, the movement's working really nice and the top's coming out towards you there. But even looking around it, you know, there's some really nice shape. You know, it's not really a bad side to this tree. But there's an obvious front, and that's up there, obviously. And yeah, another thing to really say is obviously the branch placement's really nice. I couldn't obviously make out all of that in the photos, but they look great. And as they go up the tree, they're in kind of successional thickness. So, you know, obviously other than keep an eye on that, there's, you know, a lot of the hard work has been done there as well. So it's really nice to have something that this one's clipping back and a little bit of wiring really, and you know, the occasional repot. But being a pine, I don't want to really do too much there, because we want to, it's obviously under nice, you know, it's controlled, so we don't want to obviously start promoting too much of vigorous growth. I can see this part here has been left long, maybe as a bit of a sacrificial part to thicken up here, and it probably will help me when I try and repair that wire damage in there best we can. Or if not, like I say, there might be more drastic measures if I can't live with that damage under there. But to be fair, being an evergreen and with some clever wiring, I think, and a little bit of cutting back of those wounds over time, and as the whole thing bulks up, I think that will probably be negligible in the end, really. I don't intend on parting with this tree for a long time, so if I can kind of double its appearance in my lifetime, then I'll be pretty pleased with that. But it's a good thing to start with, really, and good inspirational kind of piece, you know, for when I'm creating bonsai I can look at. And to be fair, like I say, if it wasn't for being a slow growing thing, I wouldn't really go and buy a finished deciduous bonsai. I think I'm more than capable of creating something like that, really. I think anyone is over time if they're passionate about it and take their time and think about what they're doing. But yeah, like I say, I wanted to just kind of skip a few years with the pine, really, and this one, I've been after one for a couple of years now and keep missing out on them by, you know, a few quid or being hesitant or whatever. So yeah, finally kind of secured one that I'm happy with.